She's coiling up like a spring. She's gonna pop off. Bang, look at that. Oh my God, that pose. Torso is just cranked forwards. We're going to do some animation frame by frame breakdown of potentially the craziest animation to ever come out of Japan. Whoever owns that title, that is really worth a lot because there's a lot of crazy animations that come out of Japan, as you probably know. It's not just that it's crazy, it's that it's actually really ingenious, this animation. If you don't know already, it's Fooly Cooly FLCL, this heavily stylized form of anime that was pioneered by Hiroyuki Imaishi and Yo Yoshinari, who formed Studio Trigger. And I don't want to waste any more time. I want to get into the nitty gritty because I'm sure you'll have seen these clips on some Sakuga mats, but here I've brought them into TV Paint, diagramming over the top to see what we find in some of these. This first clip I want to show you was made, I believe, it's hand drawn by the man himself, Yo Yoshinari. This guy, if you don't know, he's an absolute household name within anime and for very good reason. Let's break down this clip. I'm going to play it for you here. Oof. Oh yeah. Yes. Iconic. This is an iconic clip. Lots of animators have tried to replicate this exact kind of sequence. I'm gonna go through it frame by frame and we can see some things here. First of all, we see this beautiful rotating camera movement. It's all rotating around this central point here. And the camera movement is supporting the effects animation. Look at these bullets. If you drew a bullet aiming at someone, would you really do it like this? I wouldn't have thought to do it like this. You know, this lovely curved arc to it. These two bullets. And look at the trails, these amazing smoke trails. And they're creating this kind of, it's just a cool ass shot, you know? She's riding that guitar like a dang hoverboard, dodging these bullets, starts off big. You know, we're making use of the relative scale of things in the image. Nothing's flat in this image. There's huge amounts of depth all the way through this sequence. Smoke trails. The smoke trails are what really do it for this. I think that's what we can learn from this initial piece of effects animation, is that it's not really about the bullets. It's about the trail that the bullets leave. That's what creates this visual appeal to the effects animation, is these smoke trails. Anyway, she's coming right out at us. We don't see that yet. She's kind of maintained the same scale so far, but that's about to change. Okay, so these bullets, I guess they spontaneously combust in the air. Whatever, that's cool. These kind of shapes, it just screams Yo Yoshinari. There's a particular type of blossoming to his explosions. It's the artist's fingerprint. Let's keep it going. Now she's a silhouette. She's completely blacked out from the light. Very good relative lighting, you know? Once there's a bright explosion, she becomes blacked out. That's a smart bit of the artworking there. See, just over that frame. Pay attention also to the little bits inside the explosion. If you were to take them out, the explosion would look flat. It's what gives it its depth. Protruding bits as well. I'll keep going here. So then the explosion, I guess it overtakes her. So she's ahead of the explosion here, and then we step forward one more frame and we just see her kind of vanish into this explosion. Have a look at how the explosion is changing its shape as it loses energy. It becomes more bulbous at this stage, you see. It's going through a kind of cycle, an evolution process. There's this black, like negative inverse of that explosion. Is that her busting through, or is that just another piece of the explosion? Doing an explosion that's coming out at you requires slightly more tact. It's because you're dealing with depth. So you put it in layers, and that's one of the ways that you can deal with that. There's an interesting kind of artworking going on these parts here where there's a little bit of a gradient going on, and I really like that. You can bet that the Genga of this was done on good old-fashioned light boxes and pencil with paper. That's very nice. Lovely shape language here, just exquisite, these shapes that he's pulling out of here. It's effortless, it's natural, it always feels fun. Always, it's always feeling fun. Here's another one coming, sprouting out from that one. Hang on a second, there's something happening behind, where the black is giving way to pink. Okay, I don't understand how he came to that conclusion. It's cool though, it looks great. The results speak for themselves. And then out of this, okay, we've got a shape here protruding. Is that her? Yes, it is. There's her silhouette there. And we can see, okay, that's the bunny ears. I thought that was her arms at first. Guitar head here, so badass. And it's coming right out at us. Great backlighting as the cell shading. Very appropriate considering the explosion is behind her. Good attention to detail. Intensity lines just on the last frame, no, not too much. The next cut, it's kind of as if the camera guy has just gone like that. Here's where you're really going to start to see his ability to draw in perspective. Okay, yeah, this is her leg, this is her leg, this is her knee. Okay, cool. Lovely, look at this. Guitar in perspective, it looks so dang cool. Oh, you got the frets and everything. The dude can draw, the dude can draw. I love these as well. These look fast, they look effortless. We've got 3 trails here, and they're gonna be kind of subtly showing the depth of the scene, the perspective, you know. You see how this part here is different to this part here, different in size. That's because there's a perspective going on. Don't drop your perspective when you're doing the effects animation. I know it's tempting because effects, you can be a bit more loose, but it's still a good idea to be considerate to the perspective of your shot when you're doing your effects layer. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, the camera's moving around. One of the trails continues, here it is, signifying the arc of motion that she's come from. Very nice. And she's gonna do one of the coolest moves I've ever seen in my time here on Earth. There we go. Okay, here's the next shot. If I drew this pose, let's start with just the first drawing of the film. If I drew this pose in my sketchbook, I would carefully cut it out of my sketchbook and I would frame it on my wall. And it's just one pose. It's just one pose of many. Another great pose. Here it comes. So here's the first frame of the barrel. We're using the perspective, taking up a lot of the screen, and it's gonna shoot into the shot, you see. That's why it helps to have a geometric shape somewhere in your scene, because you can start doing this one-point perspective. The vanishing point is somewhere over here right now. I'm just approximating here, somewhere like there. That vanishing point is gonna start moving this way off screen. When it becomes more linear and we're getting a side view on her, that perspective is gonna start moving off screen very soon. Okay, great pose again. I'm gonna just say great pose over and over again during this sequence because they're just fantastic poses. Okay, she's kind of doing like a grind, you know, like a reverse side grind, like what you'd see in street skateboarding. Okay, yeah, we got these interesting. We've got these like sparks coming up, so I guess she made contact there with the barrel. Whoa, what is this? I didn't even see this frame when I first played it through. Okay, so this is an impact frame from, I'm guessing the gun was shot a little bit too late because she's already there up the barrel. Look at this pose, she's being blasted this way. You can see from the force of that she's kind of being blasted back up the barrel because the explosion is coming out here. Compared to the previous frame, you have this really high contrast look where there's these completely black shadow patches. FLCL really benefits from these very strobing, like contrast frames within their action sequences. Okay, here it's really bright, it's whited out. Wonderful shapes again. Okay, so like she's almost like held her, yeah, she's held her frame for a few frames here while this explosion is allowed to play out. Typically with the Fooly Cooly, in the action scenes, the backgrounds will move on ones, the camera shake might move on ones, the flashes, the flares, and those kind of inverses, the brightness flashes, they could move on ones. But a lot of the time they're quite economic with their character animations. They could move on 3s, 4s, sometimes even 5s. And it also fits with the style, this very wacky cartoony style that they're going for anyway. Oh yeah, we get a really good shake in there over those few frames. Any one of these poses, I would hang it up on my wall, I'm telling you. Okay, look at this. She falls forwards. She gets her hand onto the, I don't know what you call it on the barrel of the gun, but she's going to use that, isn't she? She's going to use that, just the one hand. Brilliant. Look at these straight legs. Straight leg pose. She's going to go, whoop. Oh, okay, she's crouching. She's coiling up like a spring. She's going to pop off. Bang, look at that. Oh my God, that pose. Oh my God. I'm going to Google after this, like how much would it cost at an auction to like buy one of these frames? I bet it would cost a lot. Yeah, I love that pose. I mean, wow. Here we go. Ah, every drawing. It's every drawing. Every pose. Look at this. Multiples. This drawing is pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know if I'd get away with doing that. It's so confident. And check out this as well. The proximity of this heel, the foot, to the floor is tiny, like that. If you're making an impact, let's say touching the floor, you know, like crouching down, this is the perfect frame to then afterwards have the folding of the character's body. You just want to get as close to impact as possible on the frame before impact, and then on the frame of impact, then you can crouch down. That's so between that and that. Okay, so she's just about managed to stay on her feet. Look, she's regained it there. You can see there's more control now. She brings the arms down. She really is given a lot of time to get that step on. Her body's bent over double, and the guitar is just it's just sailing over her head, but spatially, I guess she's just aware of where it is. Yes. See, I told you, this is nice and flat perspective, so we're just able to see the mechanics of her movement, but we get this whole thing at this really wonderful angle here, really steep angle. We're not just having it nice and flat and horizontal, vertical lines. No, it's way too boring. If we're fully coolly in an action scene, we're always going to be keeping these diagonals going throughout our scene. Okay, look at this. This arm outstretched, hand, fingers splayed, very clear pose, and then bang, she catches it. She just catches it like that. Just look at how she's struggling. Her body is angled so far forwards. Look at how far he pushes those poses. Look at this. Heel is just about touching the floor, just about. Leg is completely straight. Rear leg is completely 90 degrees like this. Torso is just cranked forwards. But yeah, okay, so she just from one frame to another, she just pulls it that far down. We've got a multiple of the guitar because we're working with limited frames here. It's just that every pose is a masterpiece, but I guess we're on 2s here, 3s, 2s. Yeah, 2s. Okay, great movement. She pulls it down like that, but then out to the side so that the guitar doesn't smash on the floor. And now we're pulling away. We're pulling away, we're pulling away. This is starting to be the new perspective. The perspective is going to start moving this way. We had a little bit of flat perspective when she's running alongside us, and made full use of that by doing intricate animation, making use of the clarity of the scene, I suppose. Okay, she's coming up to an obstacle here on the barrel of the gun. It's like the crosshair sights. So what is she gonna do? Okay, well, take a look. She's been running, she's running. Okay, she starts to bend. She's taking off from one leg this time. So it's a leap, it's not a jump. And she's ready, she's gonna go wham, look at that. Brilliant pose, look at that pose. Yes, and then look at this. It's lovely because she's kind of turning her the front of her body up to the sky. It's like she's really just giving this everything. She's not holding back at all. All the limits are just taken away. And this is very much like what the animator's doing. The character's going all out, the animator's going all out. Yes. Yeah, she just clears it. Look at that. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, so she's gone around the other side now. I love every single one of these poses, but I'm not gonna keep telling you that it's a great pose. Oh my God, okay, so how did she end up upside down on the other side of this? Brilliant acrobatics. And then this is like the weightless feeling. She's just cleared this thing. And have a look, it's a little bit of perspective going on even here, you know? They like things to feel like they're protruding, always trying to retain some sense of depth, even in a side-long thing like this. Look at the background as well. We feel so high up, like this is just taking place in the sky. Typically, if you've ever done acrobatics, you know that when you fold your legs like this, you tuck in a little bit, it's because you need to increase the rotation of your movement if you're rotating at all. Doing some gymnastics really helped me to kind of understand and get the feel for how these body movements work in the air. Straightens them out again straight away. Great pose, by the way. Look at the perspective on the legs. You see that leg's shorter than this one? It's because of perspective. You got a bit of a twist here. So this leg is in front here, but the rear arm is in front here. Lovely. It's not flat, it's not symmetrical. He'll always work in a little bit of style into these poses. Legs are coming out to meet the ground that's about to be there. Okay, we're just on to the next pose. I have not yet seen an unnecessary pose, I don't think. There's been a few bits of like easing here and there, but it feels like if you took out any single drawing that he made in this, it just wouldn't hit the same. It wouldn't have the same feel. Up, okay, he's planning something here. The horizon line's coming up, we're changing the angle. She's gonna turn, okay, she's turning. And there's perspective here, there's foreshortening. We're now seeing that compared to the feet, the head is quite large. We can feel this. I mean, I'm analyzing it, but you can feel this when you see this play out. So she kind of turns to us for a moment, and it's actually to get that guitar body around to this side, to get it over here, because it's a preparation. It's an anticipation, if you will, to the next move, where she's doing this almighty swing around. As sharp because, you know, it's Yo Yoshinari and he's not above doing a little bit of fan service every now and then, by which I mean a little bit of fan service all the time. Let me just play that part for you again. She lands, it was a big land, and she just kind of collects herself there. Look at that. It's very pose to pose, you know, it's very like, collects herself a little bit from this massive thing that she just did before then continuing up the barrel of this gun. Okay, so she's going along and then she reaches the chamber, I guess, of the shells. I guess she's planning to continue even further that way, I'm not even sure. Because this giant fired off another shot, the shell pops out of this giant gun and she... I think I did miss this first time. As the shell pops out, like she's going up with it. And it doesn't last long. Like you're like, wait, what the hell happened? She's completely caught on this shell with both legs going either way. And off she goes. Especially when you have animation that's playing on 2s, 3s, 4s. It's useful to have trails. It's useful to have motion blurs and things that are like artifacts of where the object has previously been in the frame, spatially, where it's been spatially. That was really, really fun to take a look at. Amazing sequence. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. If you want to make animations of your own, Mastering Motion is an advanced online animation course designed to train you in techniques that go far beyond the principles of 2D animation. Advanced techniques like 3D hand-drawn camera movement, fight choreography, effects animation, character animation, as well as my reference process. If that sounds a bit too advanced for you, if you're a beginner, then I've got you covered as well with my Getting Started in 2D Animation course. This one lays the foundations of everything you need to make your own animated films. That includes drawing principles, animation principles, storyboarding principles, and the rendering process. And this is all in one place. No need to hunt down obscure videos in distant corners of the internet. We build you up with animation exercises that grow in complexity as you learn more. It's a course that will help you to develop the ability to fully realize on the screen whatever crazy ideas are going on in your head. Good Go to animatorguild.com to learn more about these. The link is in the description and pinned in the top comment of this video. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you like, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.